The objectives we had for CFlight was first and foremost enable holistic video planning for marketers across platforms. The second was let's raise the bar on digital and provide guarantees on completed views. And third is, how do we maximize inventory and yield across the NBCU portfolio? So it was really a mechanism to deliver on our vision to measure across all screens, all platforms, and have a unified impression measurement approach.
So how does it work, or what are the pieces, and is it your tools? Are you integrating other tools into the system?
So the approach we took is, this is open source. We're going to be very transparent around our methodology, and we really looked to see who was the best, what's the best measurement available today. We know we'll evolve it in the future, but the key was that this is open source and we are very transparent with our methodology. So today, that is for television, we're using Nielsen, C3, C7, and for digital, it is DAR. So it's still Nielsen, and in this process, we investigated many different partners, including ComScore, Adobe, VideoAmp. We looked at a lot of different solutions. I think today, that is the best measurement available. So we're working with Nielsen, and Nielsen has really leaned in terms of enabling CFlight. We had a network forum with all of our peers, with the industry organizations, whether that's ARF, SIM, to really talk about what is the methodology, why are we doing it this way, how are we going to measure it, and just to get feedback, as well as provide another solution to how we think about impressions across all platforms.
So how does it stand in terms of the adoption, introduction, the long-term roadmap with marketers? And tell us sort of how that rollout is going and what we might expect.
Yes, so from a marketer perspective, when we introduced the idea, conceptually, they were like, this is fantastic, and this is exactly how we think about our planning. We think about our planning not TV and online video as silos. We think about them holistically. So I think they were really excited by it. Agencies were really excited by it. I think we have, certainly the simul media adoption. As we were talking to the other network partners, I think they were really interested in how we're making this happen. And so I think everybody conceptually believes in this. I think the challenges have come in the systems. That's where the harder conversations have been, is we're still on some of our older billing systems, and how does an agency ecosystem transform from that? How do we transform from an operations perspective to now report on it holistically? So the concept of measurement is there. How do you operationalize your billing and your operations to make it happen? And I think that's where most of the challenges have been, but everyone's sort of working through those. Everyone is saying, okay, how do we make these systems work? And Nielsen is being part of that conversation as well as Freewheel. So we're figuring it out, but I think everyone recognizes that this is a step we needed from C3, C7, which was over a decade ago now, and that we need to think about television differently.
So eventually you'll remove the friction points.
Yes.
How big could this be, or what are your hopes CFlight becomes in the next year, let's say?
So in the first year, we wanted to be very mindful of, just introducing something, a different concept to measuring impressions. So we launched with NBC Prime and sports. Going into next year, we will expand it across the portfolio, and we're working through how do we make it, a little bit less friction with the systems, and what are the investments we need to make from an operations perspective to make this easier across the portfolio. So I think there is a plan to expand it across the portfolio, but at the same time, we're building a continuum of measurement, is what I like to call it, which is, we get from unifying impressions and CFlight to how do we assign credit to television, and thinking about attribution so that we can provide marketers with a closed loop evaluation of their campaign, and then going into even broader than one campaign across a series of campaigns across the entire investment an advertiser may have with us, and looking at what are the business outcomes, whether that is sales, whether that is another brand KPI that we need to measure. How do we get to that? So we're investing in capabilities around that.